In the studio with me is the owner of a restaurant and in fact a famous restaurant in Swanston Street, the Golden Tower restaurant. He was attacked and beaten up in Swanston Street not too long ago, just doing his job. Morris Senna, good morning.
Morning, Neil. How you doing?
I'm okay. Now what happened to you?
Well, I was just sitting out in the fresco area on Swanston Street on the footpath, which we have, and minding my own business, having a cigarette. And the lady come up and asked for a smoke. I said I don't hand them out because they just cost too much. That's that. She gave me some story that someone stole all the property, this, that, and the other. I said, look, I'm not particularly interested, and left it at that. Anyway, she's walked away, calling me every name under the sun. Her boyfriend was waiting a few doors up at 7-Eleven. She's gone up there. He said, what's going on? She's told him. He said, don't worry about it. Let's just go home. Next thing you know, he comes and charges. Just charges at me, full-on attack.
You're still sitting there?
I'm still sitting down. I heard some steps. I've turned around, stood up, and realised he's just going to have a go at me. And he said that I've called her all these names. And he's just full-on outrage.
So was he punching into you?
Yeah. We ended up on the ground over the tables. He punched into my head probably about 15 times, from what I've been told. I got him off me, threw him onto the ground. He got up again, and it just went on for a good 5 minutes.
Ooh.
Good 5 minutes.
What stopped it? Did he just head off?
My chef came out and pulled us apart. He was still going on that it was going to kill me, this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, what the hell? What's this all about? You know, it's all got to do with drugs.
What time was it?
It was 12:35
In the morning.
Friday.
What were your injuries?
Sprained ankle, sore shoulder, sore back, tooth still loose.
Yeah.
Cut on the thumb. I had to go and get tests for hepatitis, and I'm still limping. So.
And you've been off work for a while?
4 weeks.
4 weeks off work?
Yeah.
How long have you been working on Swanston Street?
8 years.
In the restaurant?
Yeah.
Pretty famous restaurant. I used to go there when I was a kid and worked it out.
It's an icon.
How long's it been there?
Since 1953. Turned 60 this year.
And you're open 24 hours?
24/7.
Hamburgers and stuff like that?
Whatever you want. It's always there.
Okay. What's happened to Swanston Street in those 8 years?
The drugs. The drugs don't help. Swanston Street's been closed. They finally stopped all the traffic from driving up Swanston Street. So, after midnight, once the people die down, all you see is the junkies. And the only thing missing is tumbleweed.
Really?
Yeah.
A few drunks too?
Heaps of drunks.
Mm.
But the drunks aren't that bad. The drunks, you get the aggro one every now and then. Most of them have had a good time and they're just hungry, they just want something to eat. But the drugs, you can't control. They're just out to kill people.
And there's a lot of them there?
There's heaps of them there. And the thing is, when the normal public disappear and go to bed, they're still there and they really stand out.
Have you thought about closing at night?
I have thought about closing, but it's... Look, traditionally it's always been open 24/7. We get taxi drivers come in, get their coffee, this and that, and I don't know, do I really want to change it? Yeah, maybe, who knows?
Do you think it's got worse?
It's definitely got worse. I've seen it deteriorate in 8 years, it's ridiculous.
Well, what other examples? What else you've been bashed? That's bad enough.
Well, 4 years ago, 4 guys dragged me out into the middle of Swan Street 4 in the morning, kicked the hell out of my head. I had concussion for 2 weeks. How they didn't kill me, I don't know. Another time, December last year, had another drug-affected person. Decided he was going to start throwing chairs at all the clients. So I actually got off my chair and stood in the footpath. So he aimed at me, broke my finger, finally pinned him down. And I had to punch him a couple of times in the face, and he snapped out of it. And then he said, "Oh, I'm okay, mate, now." And I go, "Really?"
And apart from what happens to you, do you see other violence around the street?
Big time.
What sort of thing?
3 years ago, a guy staggered in at about 3 in the morning, had been stabbed in Burke Street Mall.
Mm.
I said, what's going on? You're bleeding everywhere. He goes, please call the police, the ambulance. I've been stabbed. Someone asked me for a cigarette, 3 guys, and they just stabbed me. I go, you're joking.
You want Robert Doyle down there, don't you? You want him there?
Well, I'd like to actually see if he's got the guts to come out there after about 2 in the morning. We've had his entourage. Just sit down there and see what goes on.
Mm.
That'll be interesting.
It would shock him.
I reckon he wouldn't come.
What's the answer? Would reopening Swanston Street to traffic, would that help?
Well, reopening would at least have some traffic going through there. At least if something happens, somebody sees it. What really does stop the violence is just police on the beat. I've seen when something happens in the city and it hits the news, they put police on the beat and there's no violence. Just having the presence.